conga, conga, conga. Oh my God. Welcome to the Week 3 recap on the Dolphins Dive Bar. I'm your boy, Tony 2 times, Chicky, nickname City. Let's go. We're sitting here at the dive bar drinking a strawberry fizz. It's some concoction my wife made up, and it is, I don't know, it's really good. But you know what else is really good? The Miami Dolphins. Okay? The Miami Dolphins made team history. Scored more points than they did since the 70s or something. They beat, they dismantle, they destroy the Denver Broncos 70-20. A 50-point beatdown. A 50-point embarrassment to move to 3-0 for the second season in a row, while Denver and Russell Wilson and Broncos country fall to 0-3. Most points in Dolphins history. They were a field goal away from most points in NFL history, but Coach McDaniel didn't want to rub it in their faces, I guess. And I heard the announcer speaking on the broadcast. He's like, "Oh, well, Dolphins, they just don't want to embarrass them or whatnot." I'm like, bro, embarrass them? They're down 50. Just go for it. Get the record, right? But McDaniel's class, so I guess he just did what he wanted to do. This show, we're talking about today's all positivity. Complete positivity. Literally, the only negative things that I could really talk about today was Connor Williams having 2 penalties on the same drive. One negated a first down, and then the second holding penalty negated a touchdown. Now, Williams is going to have to clean that up a bit because that's not optimal. You're not going to get that kind of production, week after week. Sometimes they are going to stop you. Sometimes, a penalty will kill a drive. It'll take the wheels off of it. But today, what happened? The team's resolve was there 1,000%. Because what they do after getting a holding call and getting 1st and 20, took 2-3 plays, they got a first down. Then what did they do after a 23-yard touchdown run got negated because of the penalty? They just marched right back down there anyway, and then they got to do the little flip play to score a touchdown. Resolve. Look, that was going to be the most beautiful 2-yard gain in NFL history. Tua is going to get the accolades for the no-look, get the comparison to Patrick Mahomes and all that. But, Achane, he's the one that made it happen. He broke the tackle. He had to break the tackle, or else, like I said, it's a 2-yard gain. So he broke the tackle, got in the end zone, big touchdowns. Big touchdowns all friggin' day, man. Now, look, Connor, I hope you're okay from that injury, because Liam Eichenberg came in and his biggest problem was sailing snaps. He was snapping them high because he just didn't have a week of practice. So, clean that up, and we're in business here. So I want to start with the defense today, right? Because the offense did, come on. So we'll start with the defense. Run defense today. Out of this world. Okay, the team played so smart. That front seven played so smart. Sure, they were a step behind when it came to getting sacks. It seemed like Wilson was able to maneuver around and get plays off. Get third down plays off and stuff right before somebody could hit him. But that defense, they showed great pursuit. They stuff it in the middle. Guy, you want to elongate it. Guy tries to run to the outside. They're right there with them. They had great gap discipline. They had great discipline period. I mean, they start the game with a 3-and-out, and they're just playing balls to the wall nonstop like madmen. Even on that series where the Dolphins get a turnover on downs, and you're in field goal range already. Denver's starting in field goal range. And then the first play is a penalty, so it moves back to 1st and 15. And then the next 2 plays are, you don't let them get any yards. I mean, you make them lose yards, you get an incomplete pass, whatever. And then instead of kicking a field goal, they have to punt. So best case scenario in that situation is a turnover. Miami gets the ball in a turnover. Second best case scenario ever right there, a punt. You start in field goal range, and you don't even get a chance to kick that field goal. The defense showed up. Let's talk about Hands. Hands Holland. That's his new name for me, man. Hands Holland, dude. The dude threw better hands today than Floyd Mayweather. Threw better hands than Miguel Cotto. Threw better hands than Tito Trinidad, bro. Holland had 2 awesome forced fumbles. 2 punch-out forced fumbles, plus that pass breakup where dude thought he had it, just come in, boom, ripped it up, incomplete pass. But Holland with 2 forced fumbles off the punch, right? And one of them happens on a play where he gets beat. Like, he got beat, he missed the tackle on the guy, and then, he starts curving up like he's going to do something. Here comes Holland, just boom! I think he recovered one, and your boy, AVG, the night vision goggles. AVG, Andrew Van Ginkel, got another one. And then let's talk about Agba. Agba, with a little tip at the line action, gets himself an interception. So the Dolphins, they were animals today. The Broncos had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an INT. Miami, goose eggs. All right. Now let's talk about that offense, man. The most insane Dolphins offense, the most efficient and proficient offense that I've ever seen from the Dolphins in 30 years plus of watching this football team. They controlled the tempo of the game so well. It was their first drive, their first touchdown drive, which was their first drive of the game, was in 2 minutes and some odd seconds. And then their second drive was 5 minutes and some odd seconds. So they could go quick, or they could take their time. You're talking about making love on the field over there, right? So Jalen Waddle's hurt. No Waddle, no problem, man. Tua Tagovailoa, 23 for 26, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. Once again, that offensive line, with Teron Armstead returning, was, I don't know, the best offensive line in the league right now. And that's who would have thought we'd ever say that? After the last 20 years of Miami Dolphins football, the last 20 years of Miami Dolphins offensive lines, these guys are creating holes and they're protecting Tua. He didn't have to run at all today. He didn't have to slide. He did not get his jersey dirty once. Some of those, he did throw for 4 touchdowns, but come on, NFL rules. Some of those touchdowns were literally, I think he had 2 pitch touchdowns, but because of the rules that counts as a pass. So he got to pad the stats a little bit today, but hey, I ain't mad at him for it. The rookie, Achane, the Texas A&M standout, the Texas A&M track star. Dude ran 18 carries, 203 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 catching touchdowns. Mostert came back with 13 carries for 82 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. Those dudes had 8 touchdowns between the 2 of them. 8 touchdowns. The Dolphins' offense, they scored a touchdown on almost every drive. So they probably had 12 drives, right? And only on 2 of those drives they don't score a touchdown. The first was the turnover on downs. Now, I completely get why Mike wanted to go for it, because you're doing whatever you want out there. You're running the ball on the outside like crazy. Your receivers, Armstead, everybody's setting great blocks. You're running on the outside, you're getting huge chunks. You're running on the inside, you're getting huge chunks, right? So why wouldn't, come on. You 2 plays. It's 3rd and 1, 4th and inches. 2 plays, you figure, come on, these guys can get a yard. Unfortunately, they went like, back-to-back Alex Ingold fullback dives, or one was actually a direct snap to him. They tried to be slick with it. They tried to be so slick with it that even the camera on TV, and they were looking at Tua right in the eyes with the camera shot, they didn't even catch the snap. They're like, oh, I guess they snapped the ball and he hands it off. Okay. Understand the call, just unfortunately bad execution. But then what happened? The defense allows no points. Mike McDaniel, that guy, like last week they were trying to run a bunch of reverses. They weren't working. They ran like one reverse today, and it had buku yards. This guy with his play calling, with his style, he's the peacock, you got to let the guy fly. You got to let him do his thing, He's not changing. He's not changing who he is. They're going for it. They're going for like on a 4th and goal to get themselves a touchdown. Like, they're just all balls all the time. Tyreek Hill, he had 9 catches for 157 yards, 1 touchdown. The bulk of it on that first drive. Second pass of the game, he's wide open. Chosen Anderson, or Robbie Chosen, had a wonderful play where he was like in the middle of the field, and then the safety, Tua looked at him, and then the safety bit came down on him, so they had him double covered, and then Cheetah was wide open in the middle of the field, jumps for it, high points the catch, and then just their safety just, didn't have the angle. Their safety didn't have the angle. Easy touchdown. And then he goes into the crowd, and he starts celebrating, and that was a cool celebration. What a little treat for those fans that were right there, oh man. It also reminds me of another funny thing I saw when the Broncos had a lot of penalties this game. It was one play where the Broncos threw a touchdown, got negated on a penalty. There was like a guy in the corner of the end zone, like right outside the corner of the end zone, I think in a Dolphins shirt or something, and he sees the play, and he stopped. He's like, no, incomplete, but it's actually a catch, and the guy's like, oh, and then he sees the flag come out. He's like, oh. That guy ran through like every emotion in one play. It was friggin' awesome. So we had Tyreek's celebration in the crowd. You had the conga line celebration after a run. That's why I came in doing the intro dance. And then they had, Raheem had his surfing celebration because, he's always surfing USA. And Tyreek also had another cool play where he caught one and, he was being tackled. But even though his knee and his forearm were on the ground, like, the ref didn't call nothing, didn't blow the whistle. So you played the whistle. So Tyreek just took off down the side, did some razzle-dazzle, made some guys miss. And, unfortunately they did a quick review and it was, he was down by contact. But, still excitement. This football team was literally scoring at will today. 10 touchdowns. So now I just want to real quick get to my players of the game. And for the inaugural time, I'm going to give out game balls. First game ball, I don't have 2. They're going to have to share it. Offensive players of the game for me, the running backs. Mostert, Achane, 8 touchdowns between them, 285 rushing yards between them, finding holes inside, outside, breaking tackles, juking guys. I think Achane had like one play where there were 6 Broncos on the floor, just looking up at him as he's just booking it down the field. The catalyst for it, of course, was that completely just dominating offensive line. I can't get over how dominating that offensive line was. My defensive player of the game, he's getting this game ball. I don't know if the nickname is going to stick, but it's old hands, old Javon Holland, old hands Holland, man. 2 forced fumbles, a pass deflection, ripping the ball out of the guy's hand, and he had 8 tackles, 7 solo. Now next week is a huge game for us, a huge game this season, divisional opponent. Miami's traveling up to Orchard Park to play the Buffalo Bills, the 2-1 Buffalo Bills. Dolphins will be on the road. Buffalo won today on Sunday. They won 37-3. They beat the Washington Commanders. Do we expect the Dolphins to score 70? Hell yeah! Let's keep it going. No, but in all seriousness, should be a wonderful football game. A wonderful early season game. Basically, 12, 16. Basically a quarter of the season. You know, it's like the quarter mark of the season already. Week 4 next week. But you know, the weather shouldn't be a factor at all. I mean, it'd probably be nice, you know, probably like 70 degrees or something. Who knows? I know Coach McDaniel is he's gonna be ready for this one. Like, his play call is gonna be. He's going to add some new wrinkles to that offense. And if that O-line can keep blocking the way they are, and those receivers can get open the way they keep getting open, and hopefully Waddle can come back and he can feast too. I mean, come on. I don't have any prediction for final score or nothing. I just want to see a good game. I want to see the Dolphins hopefully kick some ass and win. Oh. Well, I'm finished with this drink, which means I'm finished with this video. I want to thank you for coming and hanging out at the dive bar. And I will talk to you again next week after Miami Bills Week 4 action. But I think I'm going to have another one of these to keep the celebration going because, I mean, I'm going to be hyped throughout the whole day, as I'm sure all of you are. I want to thank you for hanging out at the dive bar with me. And we'll talk after we beat the Bills, hopefully.